participants, the same amount of TVL, our BNB and BUSD dividend should increase by about 300x. But keep in mind, the APY in dog and pigs is going to be reduced significantly, but it's a trade-off. So instead of getting a ton of instead of getting a ton of dogs and a ton of pigs for farming, you're getting a ton of BNB and BUSD for staking the dog and pigs that you do get.
Okay, so I've got 2 more questions I'll go ahead and take, and then we'll wrap this up. I'll take one question from the YouTube chat right now. For everyone that's listening over in Telegram, go ahead and prepare your question. I'll make sure that you guys also get to ask something. And for anyone that's watching on Telegram, my channel is Crypto Atlas on YouTube. You can go check out the replay once this live stream is done. I highly encourage it. It's fairly lengthy, but there's a ton of new information being presented here, good information, a lot of hype, I think, too. People come in, look at the system, and we've been in the market, kind of is for and where a lot of that hype is derived from. So, we're from the security exploit best door cracks and drain them. Is that something that could potentially happen?
No, the reason for this is because this is not something where we're taking custody of your tokens. So it's not like a bridge. Your token in a bridge, and then a liquidity pool where the bridge owners have the keys to the pool, and if those keys are added, they take all the liquidity. This is using time-tested, non-custodial mechanics where only access to your capital in the system if you lose your keys or your wallet, someone has to lose your money. There's never a situation where capital, our TVL as a whole, put at risk. And then also, we've had multiple audits, right? We had a Paladin audit, and the Paladin audit was in our V1, which there's, even though we made significant improvements, there's still a huge crossover between our V1 and our V2. We have a Truth Seeker audit on our V2, which is something that we'll be publishing likely today. I know I can see there's a lot of communication in that chat, and I asked for tonight, so if out here I'll be able to go in there and get that. We have an open source audit from Slither that anybody that can run a Python script can do. We have a bug bounty going right now that's been happening for a week, and we have the smartest devs in the space running our system on a side chain right now. And you know, they could make significant capital if they found an issue, but they won't, and they can't, and they haven't. And the devs that I had build this are just brilliant. And if there's one thing that I understand, it's logic and game theory of systems. And typically, there's 2 ways that an exploit happens. Well, let's just say 3, because one of them doesn't apply at all, but let's say 3. One of them is there's some custody. So there's like a centralized figure that holds everybody's money, and their keys get exploited. That can't happen because we're non-custodial. There's a exploit as far as like a bug in the code, and that's what auditing is very good for, and also what some of these testings for. And we have 3 different developers that worked on this, and they're all checking each other's work. So and one of them has been working in Solidity since Solidity was invented. Like, he's an OG, and I sniped him from a exchange. So he was working at a major crypto exchange, and I sniped him. And he was very, very good. He's been working at Solidity since it started. So, and then we brought in a third-party dev who wasn't part of development, but just came in to do testing. And then we have our Truth Seekers audit. And so that is the bug perspective, and there's for sure nothing like that in our code. And our code is 100% open source, which means that anybody can look at the code. And when you have an open source like this, if there was an issue, it would become public very quickly. Like uh, someone's going to say something about it. And then there are logical exploits. You just have bad logic in your system, and audits do a very good job to help with this. But just having a very skilled development team that understands how these systems work and has been monitoring all the exploits that have gone into the space over the past couple of years, which I have. People that know me know that I told people about the Z exploit 2 days before it happened. I told people about the elephant exploit 3 months before it happened. Um, I mentioned an exploit in another project that I don't want to name that far before it happened. We've never had a major uh, exploit or bugs in any of our projects. We've never lost investor capital due to a bug or exploit. And people that have been involved know that we have backups just in case something does happen, which prevents people from uh, actually being able to remove liquidity in the case of an exploit, and that is lockup periods. So, uh, for example, if they tried to do a flash loan, they couldn't, because a flash loan you have to repay back the loan by the end of the block. But we have 4-hour withdrawal periods on our pools and farms, which means it's impossible. We have a 24-hour lockup on our dog pound. Um, you know, everything has been covered from a logical perspective, and we this is something that we do very well, and this is the reason why we've never lost investor capital, and we won't, right? Because I look at people, I see your avatars, I speak to you guys every day. I know there's people who have kids and they have their kids' money in here. And, I know people that have had their houses saved due to the projects that we have. I don't look at people as addresses, right? I know that there's individuals behind every address, and they work very hard for their money, and this money would have a significant impact on their life, and I understand that, and I'm serious about protecting their capital, and this is why when I made a change and made an adjustment to Animal Farm, I didn't make the adjustment say, okay, let's go live tomorrow. No, I put it off so we could have a new audit done, so we could open up the public testing. Um, you're not going to find another development team in DeFi that takes security as serious as we do.
So,
and that's why all of
Forex,
our competitors have been hacked and exploited and wrecked, but we haven't ever.
We had an update here about, I think, a month ago, where the risk rating for drip was dropped from high risk to low risk on one of the major websites. I can't remember if it was DApp Radar or it was DApp Bay.
Yeah.
It was one of those two. And the other one is still listed as a high risk. On social media, like I'm over on Twitter, we'll see people that use that as an argument against drip, saying like, well, look, it's considered a high risk. It's even from Binance's own team. I know you've been in active attempts of trying to have those not negotiations, but those communications, right, with their team, and it's just a due process with all of that. Obviously, the Animal Farm is just a couple days away. This isn't a community question. This is just more like me throwing my 2 cents in. I'm hoping that after the launch of the Animal Farm, you could take a little bit more time, if it's possible, to try and explore getting that resolved. Because again, from a public standpoint, the question is, what are people using against drip to try and prevent people from coming in? And that is a very simple thing that could be corrected as long as you actually get that communication with those people. And I think that could open up a lot more doors of people willing to come in, give it an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? It's just a simple little thing, and it could go a long way. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
That's not Binance that's doing that. That's a rating, a third party rating thing that like DApp Radar that
I thought they were owned by
reason,
Binance.
Binance utilizes them, but they're a separate thing. But it is Binance does reference them though, so it would be good to get that removed. Now the reason why they placed that on Drip, and the reason why DApp Radar placed that on Drip is because uh, twofold. One of them is because all of these daily ROI projects that came out before Drip and all of the ones that came out after Drip that did a half-assed job and had bad intentions and did what they did. There was all those projects that promised 20% ROI, 5% ROI, or even 1% ROI, but the dev controlled 99% of the tokens at launch. All of those things happened for a very long time before I built Drip, and it really created a bad stigma for these kinds of projects. And then I do a good solid one, but we get lumped in with them, right? And it was, and then a bunch of people fork Drip. They all do a bad job. They all started getting moved into high risk, and we got moved into high risk with them. Now, I was able to talk to DApp Radar. I asked DApp Radar why they did it, and what they said was because we had basically a multi-level referral system. So they're saying it has like a pyramid scheme type mechanic. And I was able to go with them and explain to them this is not the case, and this is the same reason that the other DAP one did it. So I was able to go over with them and explain to them that no, the reason why a pyramid scheme is unsustainable and the reason why it is a high risk model is because multiple people are being paid out referrals on every action, and the larger the system grows, the more referrals are getting paid out for each action. With an increased referral percentage, the higher you go up in the chain, the earlier you enter, and eventually that becomes unsustainable because you have someone makes a buy or a deposit, and you have a 2% referral on the person that referred them, and then a 5% on the person that referred them, and then a 10%, and it goes up the chain, and eventually that just becomes completely unsustainable. Whereas Drip is a completely different model. With Drip, when you do a deposit, one person gets the referral bonus, and everybody gets the same size referral bonus. So it's just like an Amazon. It's just like a PayPal. PayPal, when it first came out, had an extremely aggressive referral system. And it was very, very similar to what we're doing. The two things that make that change something or that distinguish a pyramid scheme or multi-level marketing from a traditional referral structure is one referral bonus is paid out per purchase or per deposit, and capital is not flowing upstream and concentrating at the top. And Drip does both of these things very effectively. It only pays out one referral bonus per deposit. That referral bonus size is the same for everybody unless you have 5 or more direct referrals, in which case you have a smaller referral bonus, and the other 25% of the bonus that you don't get goes to the people below you. So it's actually sending capital downstream, the inverse of a pyramid scheme. And then also a team can only be 15 levels deep, which prevents capital from concentrating at the top. Because it has a round robin system where it directs back to the person that did the direct referral. And for all of these reasons, we don't have the risk that like a pyramid scheme or multi-level marketing does. And in fact, we're more efficient and more fair than even a traditional referral structure like a PayPal or like an Amazon. And I explained this to DApp Radar, and they removed us from high risk because they actually took the time to do the research and learn about it and listen to us.
Yeah.
Now with BSC, I had one of my developers get in contact with them. My developer asked if they would have a conversation with me, and they denied it. And then I had multiple people reach out to them, and they have been completely unresponsive. I've reached out to them through 4 or 5 different parties, and they don't want to hear it. They want nothing to do with it. They're close minded, and they want to gatekeep, and that's what they want to do. Now,
So let's focus on that for 1 second to interrupt you. This is with BSC, right?
well, this is with like DAPA or something, which is a
Okay.
third-party rating service that they're using.
Anyone that's listening, right? If you happen to have a connection of somebody that works there at Diap Bay, is what you said?
I think it's DAPA.
Okay, DAP Bay. I say DAP, but yeah, DAP. So DAP Bay. If anyone knows anyone that works there, if you have a potential connection to there, the fact that they're not giving Forex an opportunity, I think, is completely unfair. He should be given the grounds to be able to explain his project and not have assumptions be made, especially when other projects are giving him that opportunity and adjustments are being made. Right after that explanation goes on, they understand it. The problem is that he's not getting the opportunity to be able to talk about it. So if anyone's listening, you want to help out, you ask around, see if you can find that connection and reach out through the Telegram group. Talk to somebody like Ray, aka Bartertown. Maybe send a DM to Forex Shark himself. Like collectively, we could try and make these changes. And I don't think that we should just rely on Forex Shark to find these solutions all the time by himself. Sometimes you could have the right connection that could open up that door. So if you guys are listening, see if you can help open this door for him. It's going to affect all of us.
Just so you know, the reason why they gave my dev, who did initially get the connection with them, the reason why they gave was the exact same reason that Radar gave, which they removed because it wasn't true. So they're going off this false assumption, and they're not even willing to look at the contracts or hear me out. But this is not something that we're going to give up on. But just so you know, the average person is not looking at this rating service, and the average person is getting onboarded by someone in the community. They're hearing about it from someone in the community. They're using MetaMask. They're not getting any of these warnings. They're not looking at these rating services. So yes, it's not good if someone goes to that rating service specifically to find a project they want to invest in, and then they don't see us on the regular list. That's not good, obviously. But that's also not really happening. That is not how people are being onboarded into Drip. People are being onboarded into Drip through the community, and they're never even hearing about this rating thing unless someone specifically brings it up. But with that said, it's still something that we want to work on, and like clearly, I am working on it because we got that Radar to remove it, and it's going to be just a matter of time. But I mean, how long does Drip have to go for before you decide it's not high risk and it's sustainable? And also, the reasons why you made it high risk are just untrue. Like, we don't have a system that pays out multiple referrals on each deposit. We don't have an increased referral size as you go further up, and capital is not allowed to concentrate at the top because we have a limit on the on how high referrals can be paid out. And the most important part, only one commission is paid out per deposit, just like PayPal, just like Amazon. And we have a structure effectively the same as PayPal's initial referral system, only we're able to do it in a more fair, decentralized way because it's DeFi. It's, it is what it is, but we'll work on it.
I don't know what happened to the Telegram for the animal farm. I had a question I was looking at, and then I don't know if like the chat got nuked or something. I can't scroll back up, so I might have to take
that. That's a Telegram thing. I can.
Okay.
I don't know if you can tell me if you remember what the question is, but yeah.
I don't. I'll give you guys a moment if you're listening to go ahead and ask this last question on Telegram. I mentioned that I was going to give you guys the floor for that. I just want to go ahead while they're typing up that question. I want to mention that it's also really important to note that people can get involved with Drip without having to do the referral. They could just buy Drip. You could just sell Drip, right? And I think that's another thing that really helps differentiate it from these other things that people want to say, oh, that's a pyramid scheme. That's a pyramid scheme. It's like, you don't have to do that. If you want to get 1% interest, then you opt into the system. And then he already explained all the other elements of why it's not a pyramid scheme. I don't need to just be repeating this.
Yeah.
You've mentioned it in other AMAs. You mentioned in my last AMA. You mentioned it here. So it's kind of like beating a dead horse at this point. But
I
think it's so important to know. You can just buy drip. You just buy it, hold it. The price goes up. You sell it. Same thing. There's other cryptos that have fees, just like this has fees. And those other ones don't have all these other avenues of things that you not forced to do, you could do with drip. And that's such a noteworthy thing. You have options here. And because of those options, if you feel comfortable with it, by all means, go for it. If you don't feel comfortable with it, then don't do it. Do the other things. Or you don't even have to buy it, right? But the system is very intelligent. A lot of people are participating in it. And the fact, again, in a bear market for a very long time, it's been a year and a half that this project's been out, and it's still paying 1% per day. That's a huge testament that the system works, and it's only going to improve with these new things coming up. All right, let's see what the question is.
All right, so I see someone that's saying, when we use the card for the on-ramp purchase, will there be a tax for them? And that's from the Telegram. And the answer to that is, it's treated as if you buy any other asset online with your credit or debit card. So if you buy, so what I like to compare crypto to when it comes from like a tax perspective, and I'm not a tax expert and I'm not giving you tax advice, but how I look at it is crypto is a lot like art. So if you buy a very, very nice piece of art online, when you buy that art with your credit or debit card online, you are not taxed. And it's the same with buying any crypto online. You're not taxed. What you would be taxed with is if that art now appreciates in value, and then you sell it for a profit, and that profit generates a capital gains tax event. So if you buy a piece of art and it doubles in value from 100,000 to 200,000, then you and you sell it, then you would likely have to pay capital gains tax on that profit that you just saw, but not when you purchase the art. And that's the same with crypto. When you buy crypto, you buy drip with your credit or debit card. It's not a taxable event. You're just buying an asset online, and then depending on how you see your profit from it in the future, that could be a taxable thing. Now, the way that the current U.S. tax code works is if you're doing an on-chain swap, they don't consider that a sale. So if you swap from, say, a Chainlink to USDT or BUSD on the same chain, that is not a taxable event because they consider it as you stayed in the same asset as long as you don't leave the chain. But if you were to take that link and cash out, like send it to Binance and then and then sell it for whatever, sell it for BUSD, and then sell the BUSD for like US dollars in your bank account. Basically, it's when it leaves the chain. That's when it becomes a taxable event. So no, I mean everybody. This is a global market, so everybody has different regulations they need to abide by, and seek a professional's advice. When I say seek a professional, make sure they're a crypto professional, because there's a lot of bad advice going around from tax experts that think they're experts in all things, when a lot of them do not know anything about crypto. But
also, it'd be a bad idea if you go to a therapist and you say, "Hey, is it a good idea if I buy drip?" They're gonna look at you and be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, people have their expertise. So let me see. I mean that. So I see where you wrote last question, right? And then
you just answered that. Because the video is getting quite long. Let me ask you this: Do you still have a little bit more time?
Yeah, I have as much time as we need. I see.
So what I would recommend is that we go ahead and wrap up the live stream here. And for those, because there's a lot of people there's now starting to ask some questions over in Telegram, if you could go ahead and contribute your time to responding to some of those there, that way then we don't make this video be super, 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 super long, and people have the opportunity to go back and listen to this, and then you also can get engaged with the people that are currently hanging out in Telegram. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I would encourage people to come to the Telegram. I've been on all morning, so before we came into this interview, I was in the Telegram for a couple hours, hanging out with people, answering questions. I try to make myself available whenever possible. Of course, we have a ton of work to do, and I'm doing a ton of work behind the scenes, but I always try to make myself available. I see one other question here that I could just get to real quick. That's
Sure.
someone's asking if the Drip Liberation page will be migrated to the new website before the countdown ends. And the answer to that is yes. The new website with Drip Liberation on it and everything is 100% complete. Tomorrow, we are doing a final run through in the DAO where DAO members will get access to the new site on a test domain where they can go through and look for spelling errors and look for just simple stuff like that. And then we will be pushing the new site live, and you will see that the Drip Liberation is on it. So that work is already done. It's just a matter of pushing it.
Awesome. Well, Forex, second time doing an interview with you. First time was amazing. Second time, also amazing. I'm speaking for myself of my experience talking with you, the feedback, listening to what you have to say. Again, a lot of very good information, a lot of new things people can take away from watching this live stream. Some questions that I asked you are not traditional, what you would normally be asked in different interviews. So try to make it a bit more fun with this. Hopefully, I get to interview you. Hopefully, I get to interview you again in the fairly near future when you're especially coming up with some of the new drip stuff. I like the Animal Farm. Between the two, I'm like team. If you had to pick a team, I'd be leaning more in the drip side. It's like the bread and butter, but you know the Animal Farm's just getting ready to launch in less than 4 days. Again, we announced in this live stream the winner of the $5,000 giveaway. Who the winner was? Zaria Van Pelt. Zaria Van Pelt, based out of the United Kingdom. That person, if you're listening, you need to get in contact with them. Okay, you got to reach out. You have until the official launch of the Animal Farm. There is another giveaway for $5,000. If you guys didn't win this one, you can enter in right now. So opt into that, the same landing page, right? It's just a different giveaway now. And go ahead and participate with that. So anybody that's watching, if you're new to my channel, I'm very close to 20,000 subscribers. We've hit like this sort of flat line that's been going on now because of the bear market and some, the circumstances with this. If you enjoyed yourself and you'd like to see more content on this channel, including Drip, the Animal Farm, I do cover other cryptocurrencies as well. Would love it if you hit subscribe and be able to come back and hang out with us again. I would look forward to doing another interview with you, Forex, and also covering additional updates as they roll out with this. Do you have any final details that you want to cover as we wrap up this stream?
Yeah, I would just say Crypto Atlas has been supporting us for a long time now. He's someone that sees the vision. He recognizes the value that we provide, and he reciprocates. And he's been in here supporting us, and he's been providing a lot of promo for us. And he's one of the people that stepped up to let us come on and promote the launch here. So everybody should subscribe to him, like this video. If you like the video, it's going to help more people see it. And show him the appreciation because he's out here helping us, and that it's good for everybody. It's not just good for us as the investors, but it's good for all of the people that he's onboarding who may otherwise be attracted to some other project that isn't going to treat them as well as we do. So thank you, Crypto Atlas. I would love to come on after launch. I know that you said you love Drip. We all love Drip, especially the people that have been in Drip early on, right? They feel like Drip is their baby. It's a community project. There's no dev fees on Drip, which means that it's a 100% community project from day one. I don't collect a single cent. I've never sold a single Drip. I collect no dev fees from Drip. It's a 100% community project. I just happen to be the person that deployed the contracts, but it's just as much your project as it is mine. And Animal Farm, I think, provides a very unique set of new products that is probably going to be more attractive to the person who isn't as much of a DeFi head, because it's just like the value there is just and the use case is so close to what happens in the traditional market. But Drip acts as a major onboarding vehicle for both Animal Farm and of course itself. So Drip will always play a major role of all of our projects, and that's why I made sure that when we made this adjustment on Animal Farm, we added value to Drip when we did it. And I just want to say thank you, and I'll be in the Telegram group. You know, I'm sure that you'll share the Telegram group link, and people can come join it. And follow us on Twitter is Drip Community, and you do the contest. And that's it, guys. We're November 1st. We're going live 100%. And when I get out of this, I'm gonna go join the auditing group that I'm in, and hopefully get this audit out today. So I appreciate it, man. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Forex. Thank you so much, everyone else, for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great day. Get excited. We're here. We're in the finish line. Days away from the Animal Farm. Even better than what it was before. Looking forward to it. Let's go. You guys have a great day. God bless. We'll see you in the next video.
Thank you, man. Bye.